Hello everyone, I'm Brecken here at Spark Studios, and I got bored. So I'm going to show you how to build a giant Lego bee drone flyer thing for your minifigures. Because why not? Bees are cool, they help us with food, they basically grow our food for us. They pollinate it, that's what I'm talking about by the way, if you couldn't tell. They're just so cool. And so I thought, why not start a new series of upscaled insects? And the bee would be the perfect place to start. So this video is going to walk you through how to make your bee flyer for your minifigs. Let's get into it. Let's start at the abdomen. All right, here in front of us, I've laid out our first step to making the abdomen. You're going to want to take this piece and then place your slopes underneath. This will form the bottom of the abdomen. The abdomen is where the stinger is going to be. And once you've got those, that'll look like this. You can just set this aside for a minute because we're going to make some other things. All right, next up we've got a part that you're going to duplicate and mirror. So you want this piece and this piece, and you are going to take them and place them like so. Then on the bottom, place a black 1x1 tile and attach it like that, and then attach that there. And then you're going to bring in the part you just made and attach that like so. And then do the same for the mirrored version on the other side. Actually, those aren't really mirrored, so sorry guys, you don't have to mirror those, but there we go, that's that. Now I'm going to show you this part, but I'm not going to take it apart because this is a fairly easy thing to see. The only thing I will tell you is that this is a 2x4 plate. And yeah, let you guys get a good look at this real quick. Bricks in here, except for these ones on the bottom, don't have to be any specific color. They're mainly not going to be seen. All right, now that you guys have had your look at that, you're going to take this and connect it like so. And that's going to look like that. Let's go on to another subassembly. All right, I've got the pieces for our next subassembly laid out, and we're gonna start by assembling the first black stripe. You can see any 1x1 in black will work here. It does not have to be a stud with a hole in the middle. But then you're going to put these two arched pieces to make a slope, and then you're going to attach that there, like so. Then you're going to take, I don't know what this is called, and then a cheese wedge. You're going to attach that like so. Place it right there. Make sure those are straight. Then this piece, you're going to want to line it up more once you get it on the back of the abdomen, but you're gonna put it like that, and then a 1x1 tile. And then we'll bring our abdomen, the rest of the abdomen over, and attach it like so, and mirror and attach to the other side. And now we're getting somewhere. All right, let's go on to building the top. So you're gonna want to take a 4x6 plate in yellow and just layer it over the whole thing like that. And then you're going to want to take a 1x2 in yellow, another 1x2 in yellow, and attach some slopes to round off the top. Then you're going to take a 2x3 and place your black stripes so that they match up with the ones that we've already built. Then we're going to attach those there. And this is where I said line up the ingot pieces better if they aren't lined up. I thankfully got it almost on my first try. So then you're going to take two 1x2 tiles and two 1x2 curved slopes and attach them like so. Now you have this, and you'll place this here. And don't worry about this, we'll get to this in a second. And the last piece for this part of the abdomen is this little sandwich I've got going here. And you're gonna place that right there. And that's your abdomen, the first part of your B. And there's one more thing we're gonna add to it. The stinger, made of relatively few pieces. As you can see, there's only 4 here. I'm gonna show you how to put them together. So, you're gonna take your cone and your hinge and attach them together like that. Then you're gonna take this stud and put it in the middle there. And this is very important. The way you're gonna attach this, this claw piece has a bit of a curve to it. You're gonna attach the curve the way the hinge will move downwards, like so. So your curve is going this way, your hinge also moves this way. Now, go get the rest of your abdomen and attach it to these studs here and bend down to your liking, depending on what position the B is in. And there you go. That's your abdomen. Let's move on to the torso and head. Boom. Lots of pieces here. All right, first things first, we got to establish a base. So you're going to take this piece and this little sub-assembly here. I would just put a 2x3 in here. I have different colors just for aesthetics. Here's the bottom. And then the sides. If you have a 1x3 with holes like this, I would use that, but I do not. But you're going to take this piece and place it here. And then you're going to take a 2x6 with 1x2 studs or 1x2 plates on it and attach it like so. Then you're going to take your ball joint, which will connect the abdomen to the rest of the body, and connect it like that. After that, you're going to take some brackets and place them on either side. And then you're going to take some of these pieces that don't have studs in the middle and place them on either side as well. Next, we're going to try to recreate this little assembly I have here. So it looks like you want a 2x3 and then a tile in an L shape. Attach that on the bottom. And then you want a 1x3 plate, not plate, tile. No, that is a plate. Apologies, friends. And then you're going to take a 1x1 upward bracket, and on top, a 1x1 downward bracket, and a cheese slope, which we're going to be seeing much more of. When I say much more, I mean much, much more of. All right, and set that aside for now. Then you're going to take this little thing here, and you're going to attach it on either side. More brackets, and make sure you got the cheese slopes on top. Then you're going to take a mini ball joint, a mixel joint, if you will, with a black 1x2 plate on the bottom, and attach. Broke the ball joint off, that's my bad. And then we've got a little control panel assembly, which is just black cheese wedges on a 1x4 plate and a control panel tile. And you're going to place that there. Now the seat for the minifigure to sit is just one of these 2x2s without without studs on the back. You're gonna place that in with the studs facing forward so that it's easier for you to pull your figure out. All right, let's move on. Then you're going to take this assembly we just made and place it in like so. And there you go, you got the base, the sturdy base of the torso of your bee. Then you're going to take a curve slope 1x2 and a claw piece in yellow. I got these from Emmett's Construction Mech. And attach it like that. And then on these two brackets here, place it with the claw facing downward to provide some coverage on the bottom. And then you want to take your 1x3, a 1x3 in yellow, and place a clip here and a cheese wedge here. And then duplicate that and place it the same way on the other side. And there's that little thing right there. And then the piece we used for the seat, take another one of those and place it with the studs facing forward as well. Only this time the studs are going to be covered up by a 1x4 yellow tile, like that. Now let's move on to tiling off the bracket sections. Alrighty then, let's begin our tiling with another sub-assembly. You're going to take 2 of these and in the same color, a 1x2 plate, and you're going to attach them together like that. And then a cheese wedge and attach that there on top of the plate, and a curve slope. And then on the bottom of the curve slope, take one of these Among Us clip pieces. And once you've got that, just set it to the side, and you're going to build one more sub-assembly, and that'll finish off the torso. You're going to need a yellow or trans yellow. I chose trans yellow because it's kind of like honey. And then you're going to take a cheese wedge again and attach it there. Then attach another, it's very important that you do use one with the rounded edges, a 1x2 with rounded edges, and then a yellow stud, or it can be a yellow square plate that is appropriate. I just did not have any on standby or that I could find when I was building this. And one last Among Us bracket piece. And now you're going to take these and duplicate them for the other side. Now, take the torso that we just built, and here's how you're going to connect all this. You're going to place these pieces right here, and that piece right there, and turn it, and do the same for the other side. All right, now the moment of truth. Let's connect our abdomen to the torso. Ooh, that was satisfying. All right, let's move on, because as I mentioned, this was a flyer for minifigures, and as of right now, if we place a figure in there, like my sig fig, if we turn this upside down, he's just gonna fall out. So we need a little roll cage. So, the roll cage. Another smaller assembly. You're going to take a Exoforce robot arm and put a 3 long rod in there. And then you're going to put a Technic pin over top of that 3 long rod. Then you're going to duplicate it, but it's going to also be attached to a 4 long rod. Let me show you how that's done. So you take the part of the B that we already have done, and you're gonna snap it in here. It should line up perfectly. And then to measure how far apart the bars should be on top, take your minifigure and place them in, and put down your bars like so on either side of the head, and then push them in until they can't go any further. And that is how close it should be for your minifigures to be safe. And now, even if I take him and disconnect him from the studs, he's not going anywhere. Now our minifigure's safe. Let's work on the head. A furry little head. Okay, for the head, let's start from the bottom up. First, you're going to take a 2x3 plate. And then if you have one, a 1x3 plate in the same color, or like I have done, a 1x1 plate and a 1x2 plate, then you're going to take 2 studs in any color. If you have the same, that's great. If not, any color will work. They're not really going to be seen. And then this is very important, again, a rounded edge 1x2. Then I said we needed one of these, another 2x3 plate. Then you're also going to need to take some of these weird spoon paddle pieces and place them like so. And then you're also going to need to put your mixer ball joint where the head attaches and some more studs. These will need to be in the same color because those are going to be seen. And again, another 2x3 plate. So now it looks like this, and you're going to take another, again, it has to be rounded edge piece, like so. Then you're going to take a stud, again, this will be seen, so it has to be this color, and place a stud on top of it. Then what you're gonna do, we're gonna build up the front of the face, and you're going to take a normal 1x2 brick and attach it so it's centered here. And then on top of it, you're going to take a 2x2 curved slope and attach it there. Let's move on to the eyes real quickly. The eyes aren't too hard of an assembly. You just take a 2x2 rounded plate and then an inverted 2x2 rounded plate and attach them together like so. Duplicate, and let me show you how to connect those. You bring the head over and attach them just like so. And that's gonna be your eyes for you. Now that we're starting to get something that vaguely resembles a bee, take a 1x1 bracket that transfers into a 1x2 and place a 1x2 angled or a 1x2 cheese wedge on it. And I did not have a second 1x2 cheese wedge, so I used 2 1x1 cheese wedges. And then also, good to note that if you have the brackets in this correct color, that will be useful. Let's get one more sub-assembly done, and then the head is complete. We're going for the antenna. So I have the antenna bent a little bit, so that's why you've got all these pieces. I'm going to attach them together like so. Make sure that you have room to put the stud down. And then a faucet piece and attach it like that. And then, boom, you've got one antenna, and I've already got the other done. Another antenna. Let's attach it to the body. Here we go. All right, our bee's starting to look more like a bee now, but we still have a couple more things to do. Legs and the wings. But really quickly, I want to tell you now that the legs are not strong enough to hold the weight of the bee, unfortunately. So you're gonna wanna take 2 2x2 bricks that are clear and attach them here like that, and that'll hold him up the rest of the time when you have his legs down. Middle legs. This is not a hard assembly. This is actually one of the easier ones for the legs. Not the easiest, the front are the easiest, but here we go. So you're gonna take a bushing and put it on here. I think this is called a bushing, and put it on your Technic axle that transfers into a pin, and then a angled axle holder, I guess. I'm not quite sure what that's called. Then your 2 pin and another angled axle holder, which is what I'm calling it from now on. Another 2 long pin, then a cone, a small cone, and then another one of the pieces we used for the stinger. And there's your middle leg. Duplicate that, and then take your bee, and it's the middle leg, so where do you think we're gonna put it? Oh, in the middle hole, just like so. There we go. Now we've got our middle legs, and our bee's kind of off balance, so let's give him some back legs. Boom, back legs. This is the most complicated of the leg builds. However, this is still incredibly simple. So let's get right into it. You're gonna start by taking a Technic axle. And then you're also going to put on the end of it a clip, a ratchet joint, or not joint, clip, and then a ratchet clip that turns into a Technic pin. Then you're going to come and take a yellow brick with axle and make sure that it looks like this when you're going to put it together, with the clip hinging this way. And just slide that through. Then you want a black one of the brick with the axle hole and attach it like that. Then you're going to take a 2x2 and attach it on the bottom. After you've done that, take a yellow bracket and place it on either side, like so. And then a yellow 2x2 plate here. If you have an Exonite shield, I would use that instead, but again, I don't have an Exonite shield in yellow. Then, speaking of Exonite shields, place 2 here. Like I said, if you have yellow, that would be good. I just don't. Now, let's move on to the smaller part of the leg. You're going to take one of these, similar to what we used on the front legs. This is the one with the number 3 on it. And you're going to attach it like so. Tricky there. And then you're going to take a 2 long pin, another cone, and another claw. And duplicate that for the other side. And let's attach it to the rest of our bee. You're going to want to bend it at a 90-degree angle first, and then unbend it just by 1. Now I called these the back legs, so let's attach them on the back, if they will attach. Like so. And for those of you that are still watching the video, thank you very much. I know this was a bit of a longer one, but most of my videos that I post that are not shorts are going to be longer from here on out. But there we go. That's our bee's back legs. And let's get the front legs done. The easiest of the build is the front legs. So I already have one here. We're gonna just copy this over, but mirrored. So you're gonna take this piece and then take a pin axle and attach it there. Then a rod clip like that. Then one of these pieces that I don't know what it's called, and attach it here. And then at the end of that, a claw. And now, just to show you how to attach it, if you're not quite sure, put it into the bee's front axle hole, which I am struggling to do. Right in there. And bend it up, because when I looked at a picture of a bee for the reference, they always had their front legs bent up like that. So, yeah. All right, there's your bee's front legs. Let's just position him how we want him. Got it. All right, let's move on to the final part, the wings. Back wings. Much like most insects, bees have 2 sets of wings. So let's build the back wings. we're gonna take a window piece, make sure it is clear, like transparent, not tinted at all. And then you're going to attach a clip, an inverted slope, and then on the top, 2 studs, like so, then a clear tile, and then clear cheese wedges oriented in the ways that you are seeing. There we go. That is our back wing already done. Mirror and duplicate. Now let's attach these to our little buzzy bee friend, like so, and rotate this back a little bit. That's why it's on an Among Us piece, and that's why it was so important that you made sure you had one of the rounded tiles. There we go. We got the back wings done. Let's do the front. And the front are only 2 pieces, so I'm not even going to cut the video. They are just these windscreen pieces with black battle droid arms. You're going to take them and attach them to your little bee friend, like so. There we go. And orient these to where it looks like they're together. If you can, if you're skilled enough, because I evidently am not. There we go. There we go. Now we have our little bumblebee friend. And I made this guy. I like to display him on this clear little stand. The pieces that I had you put on the bottom so that he would stand up, just attach right there. And I put him in a flying position by putting all of his legs going backwards, like so. And his front legs I just tuck up a little more typically. Now, orient the wings how you want them. And there you go, that's your little bumblebee. So I hope you guys liked the video. I really enjoyed building this bee because bees are cool. Tell me which insect you think I should build next. The ones that I'm currently thinking about right now are praying mantis, dragonfly, and wasp. So yeah, just tell me what you think. Remember, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And one more quick thing before I go. I've noticed that the things that come from my imagination are getting less views than the things that people know. Like I noticed my Shadow the Hedgehog video of how to build the Doom Wings got significantly more views than the Nightmares video did, and those 2 were posted on the same day. So I've made the decision that I'm going to hold off on things like Nightmares and Legends of the Master of the Sun until the channel gets a little bit bigger, because they just aren't getting traffic and people are more likely to watch something they know rather than something that they don't, like stuff that comes from my mind. So yeah, that's all I really have to say for this video. Thank you guys. Don't worry if you are one of those people who actually, for some reason, does like the things that come from my mind, like Nightmares or Legends of the Master of the Sun. I will get those going again at some point, but for now, I'm stopping with them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!